attack, a Russian missile and drone bombardment of Ukraine, killing 15 people and injuring 156. In those 15, of course, that American casualty. The main barrage demolishing a 9-story Kyiv apartment building. The deadliest attack on the capital this year. At least 14 people killed as explosions echoed across the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv, for almost 9 hours. Emmanuel Macron of France has condemned the Russian attack on Kyiv this Tuesday, saying that it shows Vladimir Putin's cynicism. Well, let's get more analysis and bring in Orysia Lutsevych, who's Deputy Director of the Russia and Eurasian Programme at Chatham House. Thank you so much for being with us. Putin, clearly, it seems, taking advantage while the eyes of the world are on the Israel-Iran conflict.
It's interesting that Putin has ramped up his attacks against the civilians after the inauguration of Donald Trump. And we have numbers that show that for the same period between January and April last year and this year, the number of civilian casualties increased nearly 60%. So he is showing the force that he would like to impose a war termination on Ukraine. And this is what I think he's been discussing with Donald Trump behind the closed doors in these two lengthy conversations, that Russia cannot be defeated, that there is no military solution, and that he's prepared to go far in order to break the will of Ukraine to resist. This is what it's doing. It's achieving no military purposes on the battlefield. It's not military infrastructure, unlike Ukraine, that has been attacking strategic aviation, airports, fuel depots. These are the cold-blooded killing of civilians in an open day.
Orysia, as you're speaking, we're seeing the images. It is very obvious that these are residential targets that have been hit by Russia. And clearly, as you say, the Russians are becoming more and more brazen, more and more bold in terms of their open targeting of civilians, something that's happened on Trump's watch. Trump said he wanted to end the war. It's looking nowhere near like reaching even a temporary ceasefire.
You're absolutely right. And I think this is the kind of a deadly paradox that we are seeing. Ukrainians and Europeans are trying to convince Trump that there is only one way to peace, and that is to strength. And that strength should be expressed by providing Ukraine everything it needs to stop Russian invasion and to protect its skies, and also through curtailing Russia and capability to wage the war. It means squeezing it out of the global oil and gas markets and imposing more sanctions on Russian economy, something that Trump has not done. We've only seen pressure on Zelensky to concede from him, but nothing from Trump. But, you know, for Ukraine, it's so important that even as Trump left earlier, the G6, if you want, leaders met with Ukrainian leader. They've again committed to Ukraine's sovereignty and Ukraine's security. And this is what is critical this year, as America may get involved in this wider war in the Middle East. And let's remember, Iran is Russian ally, and there could be another quid pro quo between Moscow and Washington about what role Putin will play in that conflict. Let's remember that it supplies aviation, it supplies military technology to Iran, and it has a special agreement with Tehran.
Indeed, that would put Trump very much at loggerheads with someone who he views, well, someone who has openly said that he admires, Vladimir Putin. Orysia, the US now condemning the Russian attack on Kyiv because there is an American that has been killed. Now, in the scheme of things, if you look at the number of casualties on the Ukrainian side, on the Russian side, and Donald Trump saying he doesn't want to see people killed, this one American casualty changing, it seems, by one statement, the Trump administration's view of what happens. I think this is the first time they've actually come out and condemned a Russian attack on Ukraine.
Well, from what I remember recently, he also said you have to stop Vladimir when he again attacked Kyiv recently. But so far, other than, statements of appeal like that, we have not seen any specific action. Exactly the bill that is in the Congress that would curtail Russian capability to bypass sanctions, to deploy its shadow fleet, has not been passed. And we hear from news reporting that a special commission that was set up on the pressure on Putin has been dismantled. There was a cross-agency commission. So it is not clear whether Trump will be ready to walk the talk. Every life is precious. Life of an American and so many Ukrainians is valuable. But what is Trump doing to protect those lives? He could easily dispatch more air defense to Ukraine, Patriot missiles that are able to take Russian missiles and other capabilities. But he's not making these kinds of statements.
Orysia Lutsevych, we need to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed. Deputy Director of the Russia and Eurasia Programme at Chatham House, Orysia Lutsevych, thank you very much for joining us. And we remind you all that Vladimir Putin, of course, is still the subject of an international arrest warrant for war crimes committed in Ukraine.